Good morning. Welcome back to the shop. If you don't already know, my name is Eric, and today is Wednesday. What are we going to cover today? Well, I thought we'd cover some of the day-to-day stuff that I'm seeing in the comments, and then sometimes it's easier for me to just tell you what I think versus trying to put it out. See, that's the one thing I've always hated about emails and chat and all that stuff is the meaning can be lost along the way. Someone that's saying something that is very nothing there, somebody can take it the wrong way. Whereas something said in anger, it's. But with me, I use my hands a lot too. But with me, it's more about just vocalizing. And one of the questions that was asked of me was, what did I think of? I know I'm going to mispronounce this, Chickatanic, and her having 2,000 units a year that they do with the repair shop. Now, I can only assume that she's being truthful. Why not? Um, if you take into account, all your weed eaters, chainsaws, mowers, you've got, spring season, which is your tillers and all that, and people are starting to get rid of their mowers ready for the season. And you got the fall season. People are bringing their stuff back in to get service to be put away, so that now your snow blowers are going to start rolling in to get them serviced and fixed through the winter, and then back to the spring. And one of the things that I do know that a lot of dealers count are their floor planning, and that can add up to a lot of units. Uh, just saying that you're getting in 2,000 units a year, she may not be saying that she's getting in 2,000 units to be repaired. She may be saying that overall, on average, that she's getting 2,000 units in. And I know a local steel dealer, good friends of mine, they have over 200 saws come in. Just of one brand. That's not counting the other brand that they carry as well. And they have to take that many, whether they like it or not, if they want to continue floor planning. The same thing with your push mowers and your riders and you see what I'm getting in your, is if you count a person's floor planning, it doesn't take long for things to add up. I was trying to do the math quick this morning when I was reading the question, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. We do probably just between 1,000 and 1,200 units a year to be repaired. Granted, I do not floor plan. I do not sell new units. I'm a dealer for umpteen ones of them, a warranty shop for umpteen ones, but I choose not to. And the biggest reason that I choose not to is I can't sell apple for apple to my customer for the same money that the big box stores are selling it for. Some can say, well, my stuff is better than the big box. Okay. The better thing to say is, my stuff comes with a warranty, and you're going to get warranty through me, and I will take care of you. Now, you might get some customers, and I've had customers that want me to do some lawnmowers and that stuff, that will go with you based on trust. They've trusted you for years, and they want to stick with you. And they would very much like to see you get into the new stuff so they can buy their new stuff from you. But the real skinny is, if you buy that at Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, Tractor Supply. You trying to say they don't come with a warranty? I mean, if it's a Cub Cadet, then they're going to find the closest Cub Cadet dealer to that person to do the warranty on that unit. If it's a steel, it's going to go to your local steel dealer closest to the individual. That's how it works these days. So I'm not willing to say, I don't like lying anyways, but I'm not willing to say that you aren't going to get as good a service through them as you would if you bought it through me. Because they may end up, Cub Cadet may send them to another dealer after they bought it from me because they're a little ways away, and they're going to tag their closest dealer. I'm not saying that a lot of the dealers that are floor planning are not pushing customers that didn't buy from them back down the stream somewhere. That takes longer and longer and longer to get it fixed. Because they're going to take care of their customers first. But the one thing that have always bothered me with that statement is that, well, they're not my customer. They could be. If they see that you do quality work, if they see that you are willing to listen, that you get your job done, you get it in, you get it out, and you get it down the road, they may be the perfect next customer that you want after they pay their bill for the repairs, or if it was warranty after they sign off on it. But if they're impressed with you, they will come back to you to buy that next unit brand new instead of over there or online. So I think it's a misnomer that people that are running shops that are doing that are kind of, tripping over work, I guess you're missing out, guys. You're really missing out. Because you only have just so much time to impress that customer. Now, if that customer is sitting 4 months down the road and you kick the can down the road because your customers are bringing their stuff in and that person bought it from Amazon, let's say, do you think that person is going to come, that customer is going to come and look at anything you got for sale? Nope. Because they're going to think that it's taking you that long to get to them. It must be taking that long for you to get to your regular customers. It's common sense, isn't it? No, it's not common sense with us dealers, but it's common sense out there. But they're right too. Just because you have a yard full of stuff that needs to be repaired does not impress people. It's when they come and you're staying caught up and stuff is going out as fast as it's coming in, so they're going to get in and get out. Because it's one of the biggest things that I hear today is, how long till I get my unit back? How long till I get my lawnmower back? How long? And I tell them, how fast can you get it here? Or do you need it picked up? Because right now we're turning and burning enough so that any machine that comes in by Wednesday, unless there's a back order part, and you guys know what that's about, it's out of here by Friday. Anything that comes in today will be out by Friday unless I can't get the part here. If it's a service, it'll be out by tomorrow morning. If it's belts, and I've got the belts right here on the wall, which I carry hundreds of belts, then by tomorrow. If it's mower blades, I carry a lot of blades. out by tomorrow. If it's something that we can fix here quickly without having to order, online the parts to get them here, you're talking a couple days. And I know if you've been a dealer for any length of time, you're going to kind of know some of the regular stuff, like a couple spindles to carry, Craftsman, uh, Husqvarna, and Poulan are all the same thing, basically, just different colors. you know, it's owned by the same manufacturer. They're all stamped the same. So one spindle will normally fit on any one of those three. If it's a 42-inch cut, I guarantee you, all three of those will take the same spindle. All three of those will take the same blade. So, if you're starting to see a lot of the Husqvarnas and the Craftsmans and the Poulons that are in the 42-inch cut, good chances are it wouldn't hurt to carry one or two spindles and a set of blades on hand, just to turn and burn. Now, the ones that you only see a couple times a year, no, it's not worth stocking for them. Because you're just sitting on inventory that you're just hoping that person comes back, and if they don't, they may have gone to Joe Blow down the road shop, and you're out the sale anyways. Do the repair work, and you're sitting on those parts. So, the common, fast-moving stuff you should have. The less common, the higher end stuff, wait and order as you need it. Customers will understand. Because the customer doesn't have any problems waiting, maybe a week. But you start pushing it out farther than that, then they're going to start getting antsy because the yard is the grass is growing, and along those same lines, I've seen a lot of dealers, repair shops, where it looks like they have a lot of units out front that need to be repaired. And that's one of the worst things that you can have. Now, I know a lot of my shops that I'm talking about locally that do that. What they do is they have the stuff that needs to be fixed on this side of the doorway, and the stuff that's fixed is over on this side. But it still looks like a large amount. And I'm telling you, when it comes to a customer driving by your shop or pulling into your shop, thinking about getting something repaired, that's going to concern them, because they're going to see all those units sitting in front of your repair shop. Good chances are they're going to drive right by, because they're going to say, there's no way I'm going to get my mower back in a week, 2 weeks. Where in fact, the truth could have been that they could have had it back in a couple days. So what you guys need to do is declutter. And when I say declutter, have some place, ideally, we have, with our shop, we have the double bay that we work out of. But also, within 50 foot of it, we have a 3-bay lean-to with garage doors on. And what we do is the stuff that's repaired goes into 1 bay. The stuff that's waiting on back orders goes in another bay. And then the stuff that needs to be fixed, the high-end stuff that people worry about, somebody taking or this or that, we put in the 3rd bay. So, when a customer pulls in, they're not overwhelmed thinking that, why should I even ask, because they're not going to be able to knock it out of the park for me. So if you have a lot of stuff sitting out front that is repaired already, if you could find a different place, where it's easy accessible. I know the biggest problem is location, location, location. We have real estate here where a lot of places you guys don't have a lot of room to store stuff out of sight, out of mind. Now, I was telling you before here with the shop that we have almost 3 acres with this lot that I bought here. And at one time we had close to, and this was over a 4-year period, we had over, I would say, 400 riders and miscellaneous everything else that were parts machines that were stored up back. And I say every 4 years because every 4 years I get a wild hair up my ass and I hire a friend of mine to come in. I don't hire him. I have a friend of mine come in. He's a scrapper, a bigger time scrapper. He has his own excavators with his shears. But they come in and they, we'll take off some of the common stuff. The starters, we'll save the decks if they're in decent shape. Some of the stuff that we reuse quite a bit, we will take the time to take off before we send them up the hill. So, but we've already got too many of these Briggs and Stratton starters. We have too many of these Tecumseh starters. We have too many, so we stop taking them off after a certain amount. There's only so many that you're going to use. But every 4 years I have them come in and I just get rid of it, guys. Get it cleaned up and we start fresh again. Most of you can't do that. Because what I also offer our customer is if they decide it's not fixable or they don't want to fix it, that a lot of times I'll just take it for the bill for doing the appraisal on it or doing the once over on it to see what's the matter with it. And it sounds like the question that I had for you yesterday, concerning my friend that was a sales rep, that most of you aren't doing pre-season anymore. And that I pretty well already knew. See, your smaller dealers can change faster, can see things written on the wall and make course correction so that you don't hit the iceberg like the Titanic did. Whereas if you're really big, you're looking so far down the road that it's going to take quite a while just to get to the ship to turn just a little bit. But I knew with talking with him that he was seeing the same thing, that he has his regular pay, of course, but he gets a commission on so much above a certain amount. And I'll tell you, he's a heck of a salesman, but you can't sell something to somebody that has no place to sell it themselves. I mean, just being honest, I've got stuff here that I bought 4 and 5 years ago in bulk that I'm still sitting on. We haven't done business with him or his company in some time now. I'm talking maybe 4 years, 3 years, 4 years. And I've still got stuff in inventory from their company because I can't sell it to my guys that are walking in doing their own do-it-yourselfer repairs, or the small guys that are doing it as a hobby coming in and getting it, because they can get that same part online a whole heck of a lot cheaper than what I would need to get out of what I've got. So we're going through and looking at inventory that's been sitting here a long time and saying, do we really need to have it hanging on the wall, or is it time to declutter there. You know, it's one thing to say you stock a lot of parts, but if it's not parts that you're selling regularly, why would you stock it unless you had an outlet for it? I mean, does that make sense? So the other thing that I was just going to quickly ask you guys is, what do you think of the business affiliations, that associations or whatever? See, at one point in time, we belonged to the BBB. We belonged to the National Federation of Small Business. There were a couple other ones. But I sat down and I looked and said, what is each one bringing to the table for what I'm paying them? And of course, they'll tell you how much they're doing for you, but they're not doing it for me. A lot of the stuff they were doing. And I'll be honest with you, the Better Business Bureau, we also are members of the local Chamber of Commerce and then the bigger Chamber of Commerce. The only time I would hear out of the BBB would be when my dues were coming. It was $400 a year. And same thing with the National Federation for Small Business. I never heard a peep out of them until it was time to pay your dues. And one of the things that I heard from them when I was talking to them was that it's getting harder and harder for them because less and less businesses, small businesses, are signing on with them. I'll be honest with you, I got in with the BBB back 2006, 2007, when we were starting to crank up. And at that point in time, it was IT, web development, server administration, and that stuff. And the same thing with your local chambers. We got signed up with them. But it was more to show that we were actually a legitimate business. We weren't a fly-by-night. And then when we started doing the online sales, we continued it because we thought we needed to have that legitimate business association showing that we were not a fly-by-night. But like with the BBB, the only time I heard from them, they would tell me that day that they had talked with a customer about our business and how they handled it and this and that. And in the same breath, they're, sir, are you going to renew your dues this year? So when we had to do cost cutting across the board, and I mean across the board, I went and I looked at kind of like a line item veto down through. I went through everything that we were paying out, saying, do we really need this? Do we really need this? Are we wasting money on this? Where are we dumping a lot of money that we shouldn't? Where should we be investing that we aren't? So I'm curious what you guys think that have shops and stuff, or other businesses, repair shops. It doesn't matter what trade you're in if you're watching this video. A lot of times, if you're the owner, you've looked at them, or maybe you're still part of them. So on that note, you guys have a great Wednesday, and we'll be back at it tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Alright, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, you know where to put them, and I appreciate everything you do for me.